Hey guys, Primus here, and welcome to another Mass Effect update. Today I'll be talking about the latest N7 bounty weekend called Operation Blast Furnace, and I'll also be talking about a new N7 day multiplayer challenge that BioWare released for November 7th, alright? And finally, I'll be talking about the Omega DLC and a current update on that, alright? So, with no further ado, let's start this. Okay guys, the first thing I'll talk about is actually the new N7 bounty weekend that's coming up for November 9th through the 11th called Operation Blast Furnace, alright? And basically BioWare released this little article here talking about, you know, the operations like they always do, okay? And basically it gives us the event description, alright? Basically the little synopsis of why we're doing this operation. And it says here, quote, "Resistance movements across the galaxy continue to fight. We will provide these groups with literal firepower, allowing them to stand their ground and protect our homeworld." End quote. And basically that's it. I like how they use literal, like in like italicized letters and everything. I guess they're emphasizing that it's literally going to be firepower. And basically the individual goal is to get 75,000 points of damage using fire-based powers, including Incinerate, Carnage, Infernal Grenades, Flamer, Sentry Turret Flamethrower, and Geth Turret Flamethrower on any map at any difficulty. Points are cumulative across matches. Extraction not required, alright? So basically this is very similar to Operation Jackhammer from last week, in which we had to do Biotic Charge and, get 75,000 points. Frankly, that's pretty cool in my opinion. That they're doing this again. I really like this, earn 75,000 points and whatnot, because you had to actually play a few matches just to get these points, rather than playing one match and boom, you're done with the operation and whatnot, right? And also what I also liked about this is, rather than sticking with one power, because like last week it was only Biotic Charge, this week they're saying fire-based powers, so Incinerate, Carnage, Infernal Grenade, Flamer, and so on and so forth. So that's pretty cool how they're broadening. Wow, I can't even say the word. Well, they're extending the options for the people, okay? So you don't have to stick for one power and whatnot, and you don't have to stick with one class and everything like that, right? You can use different classes, because I know different classes have these different abilities. Like the Sentry Turret Flamethrower are engineers, the Carnage are the soldiers, the Flamers could be the Vorcha Sentinel if you wanted to, and everything like that. In my opinion, I probably might use the Battlefield 3 character because he has Carnage. I might use the Krogan Soldier because he has Infernal Grenades and Carnage, I believe. And definitely, for sure, I'm gonna use the freaking Vorcha, because the Vorcha is beastly with that flamethrower of his from his Omni tool. So, and that's pretty cool. And then what's great about this is that they're cumulative, so you don't have to acquire 75,000 points in one match. Obviously, that would be really difficult to do. And also the fact that you don't need extraction. So just in case if you guys get all killed during the final round or something like that, the points are still there. You don't have to do it all over again, right? And basically the reward for completing this goal is basically the accommodation pack, alright? And the accommodation pack is a very simplistic novelty in my opinion. They usually just give you like an N7 weapon and whatnot, and really I don't really care about that. I have most of the N7 weapons except maybe 2 or 3 of them. But other than that, I would rather see if they gave us a rare character rather than, the weapons and everything. But I guess the N7 bounty weekends is kind of like the only time where you can get the N7 weapons. Like I think the Valiant, the Hurricane, the Typhoon, I think this is the only time when you can get those weapons during the N7 bounty weekend, and when you get the accommodation pack and whatnot, right? But that's pretty much it, guys. It's very simple. Get 75,000 points using any fire-based power, and then if you accomplish it, you get a accommodation pack, which will include an N7 weapon or something like that, right? So that's pretty much it for that operation. I'll see you guys out there. If you guys actually want to play with me, there's no problem with that. I'll gladly play with you, and I'll probably might record it just for shits and giggles, so I can put it on YouTube and stuff like that. And mind you, one thing I do want you guys to know: in my video, if I do live commentary or even commentary off the camera, I really don't mean what I say sometimes. Obviously, if you're being really annoying on the microphone and you're being like there was one guy bossing all of us around, telling us, "Oh, you idiots! Use your rocket missiles! Use your rocket missiles! Use your rocket missiles!" yeah, I'm probably gonna bitch about you because you're just being plain annoying. But if you're, let's say, you're dying a lot of times or you're not getting a lot of kills, but you're not being annoying in general, I don't care about that. I don't care if you die a million times and I have to revive you a million times. To me, I find it comical, To be honest, I find video games fun. I don't find games stressful in any way. And video games shouldn't be like that. It shouldn't be stressful. But whatever, enough of me talking like Dr. Phil, trying to go all emotional and bullshit like that. But if I do make comments saying, oh, he's dying again, you son of a bitch, I don't really mean it. I'm just playing around, alright? But if you are, let's say, on the microphone, the only time I really bitch about somebody, and I get angry at, is if you're on the microphone and you're complaining and you're whining about the other players on your team and really you're fucking up as well. Shut the hell up, alright? You have no right to say that because you're messing up as well, okay? I know there was a few videos and like that where some people will be on the microphone and talking so much smack and everything, and they would just mess up themselves and everything like that. But whatever, I digress. Enough of that. So I'll see you guys out there. Just message me through the PSN if you guys want to play with me, and I'll leave a link in the description below for this article if you guys want to check it out, okay? So see you guys then. So on to the next topic, shall we? Okay, guys, next thing I want to talk about is actually a new thing that BioWare did for us for November 7th, and that is the N7 Day Multiplayer Challenge, okay? The reason why they release a challenge on this day is because apparently the acronym for November 7th is N7, so they figured, since we're considered the N7 characters, why not do a challenge for November 7th, right? So they did that and everything like that. I guess originally they were supposed to have it only for one day, only for November 7th, but they figured since a lot of people are working or have school or something like that, that they really can't play this game on that specific day, so they kind of extended it until November 9th. Actually, by the time you're watching this, it's probably over because, right now I'm looking at the clock, if you would, until the challenge is over, and there's only 1 hour left, so I doubt anybody out there is going to have time to basically actually play this game or actually play this challenge, right? But for just in case you guys wanted to know what this challenge was, I'll tell you really briefly what it says here. It says here, it requires 3 extractions while playing as a human character, basic human kits, N7 humans, or X Cerebus, okay? This can be completed on any map, at any difficulty, and if you defeat or accomplish this challenge, you get an N7 Day banner. And really all this banner is planet Earth with the sun in the background and with all the Reapers coming down and everything like that. That's all it is. Very simplistic banner in my opinion. But it's still a banner nonetheless. So that'd be pretty cool to have, as, part of your collection, if you would. So that's pretty much it for that, guys. There's really not much to say about it. So like I said before, by the time you guys are watching this video, the challenge is going to probably be over and everything like that. I would have released this video earlier, but the thing is I was busy on Wednesday actually, so I couldn't really do it. Alright, so I do actually have some videos of the N7 Day Multiplayer Challenge in which I did it, very quickly and everything like that. I used the, the N7 Vanguard, and I used the N7 Sentinel, aka the Paladin, if you would, right? So go check out those videos. You can check them out right here. There you go, just go check them out, click on them, and it'll take you to those videos. Alright, guys? So that's pretty much it for this. It's not really much to say, extract 3 extractions with a human character, any human character, and you get an N7 Day banner, and that's pretty much it, okay? So if you guys want to play with me, just message me through the PSN, alright? I'll leave my username in the description below, okay? So that's pretty much it. So on to the next topic, shall we? Okay, guys, next thing I'll talk about is actually a new class that BioWare released. Actually, it's not a new class, but a new character, and that is the Geth Trooper, okay? And he is a soldier class, so for you people out there looking for a new soldier, guess what? You got one, alright? And what's so cool about this Geth Trooper, in my opinion, is that he has a flamer ability, alright? I know the Vorcha was the only character to date to have a flamer ability, but now we have a Geth who has a flamer ability. So you can kind of consider him as a Geth Pyro. I'm seeing the image right now here, and he really doesn't have a giant gasoline tank like the Geth Pyro does in the multiplayer and everything. But that's pretty cool that they added this, that they added just Geth Trooper with a flaming ability and everything like that. It would make sense because after all, the Geth Pyro is an enemy and everything like that. So that's pretty cool. The other abilities that this Geth Trooper has is actually Fortification and Hunter Mode, alright? Fortification's surprising for me because I've never seen a Geth have this ability. That's more of a Krogan ability, actually. Hunter Mode, that's kind of like a, you know, dead giveaway that it is a Geth, because, you know, Geth are the only ones with this Hunter Mode vision, if you would. And then for his passive abilities, you have Network AI and Advanced Hardware, which is typical on any other Geth out there. So that's pretty cool that they added that. Can't wait for that. You know, I know a lot of people have been waiting for a new soldier character for quite some time now, and guess what? We finally got one, right? So, obviously, I don't have him, so I can't really show you gameplay footage of him yet. But once I get him, I will show you gameplay footage of the Geth Trooper, alright? So that's pretty much it for that. So, on to the next topic, shall we? Okay, guys, the last thing I want to talk about is actually a really big thing, in my opinion. Like they always say, save the best for last. And basically, that is the Omega DLC, okay? I'm actually updating you guys on what's going on with this Omega DLC. Couple of days ago, GameSpot released a video of one of their editors interviewing Michael Gamble. He's actually one of the producers for BioWare and everything like that. And basically, he was actually doing a 20-minute gameplay footage of the Omega DLC and basically explaining what's all it about, you know, who are the characters, what new things to expect, things like that. All right. So I kind of watched the video and I kind of wrote down things that are, to my opinion, kind of like really like holy shit, you know, cool and everything, and important to know about this Omega DLC. All right. So basically, what Michael Gamble said is that it first starts off with Shepard and Arya talking at the Citadel. Obviously, you know, Arya's at the Citadel because she got kicked out because of Cerebus invading Omega, and so she comes to you for your help, and she asks you to help her out, you know, overrun Omega again and take it back from Cerebus and whatnot. I don't know if, you know, she gave Shepard, you know, some type of reward if you help her out and everything like that. It just Michael Gamble never really said anything on that, but all it says is here that you're basically helping Arya take back Omega, all right? And the main villain of this DLC is General Bravisky. I don't think that's how you pronounce it or say it. I kind of just wrote it down based on what I heard. But General Bravisky, we'll call him General B, alright? He's the main villain in this DLC. He's kind of like the right-hand man of the Elusive Man. So he's kind of one of the... He's basically a higher up there. He's kind of like the second in command, if you would, of all of Cerebus. So it would make sense if, you know, put, you know, a high-ranking officer guarding Omega and everything like that, right? And so basically the gameplay footage starts off with you crash landing in Omega and everything like that. You know, the Cerebus is shooting you from space and everything, and then you just crash land into Omega, and then you find out that Arya is a squad mate, alright? And when I saw the video, I was like, oh shit, Arya's a squad mate. And even the editor for GameSpot was like, oh, so Arya is a squad mate. He's like, yeah, Arya's a squad mate. Obviously, you know, it's the Omega DLC, you're helping Arya. Arya wants to be part of this take back, so we figured why not give Arya to you as a squad mate. So she's an offensive biotic, all right? That's what, you know, Michael Gamble says. She's an offensive biotic, so she has a lot of powers that basically would rip through everybody's shields and powers and everything like that. You know, I actually wrote down the list of powers she has. It's Reeve. You know, Reeve, basically, if you guys don't know, it's kind of like warp, if you would. Then there's Carnage. That's not really a biotic power, but still, that's pretty cool. Then she has Lash, alright? That's a power from the multiplayer. That's not a power from the single player whatsoever. So you have basically a way to take away the Guardian shields, which is really useful in my opinion. And then finally, there's a new power that only Arya has as to date, and that is Flare, okay? And Flare is basically what it sounds like. It's a flare coming straight from the floor. To give you a better description of what it is, if you guys ever played Final Fantasy and if you ever used flare or something like that, especially in Final Fantasy X where you use flare, it's just like that. It's just a whole bunch of fire and explosions coming up from the floor straight up and everything like that. And what Michael Gamble said about flare is that it's really strong and really powerful, but obviously it's not effective for people who have shields or armor or something like that, right? So that's pretty cool that they added this new power and everything like that. Hopefully they'll be able to add this power for the multiplayer, because if they did, that is going to be kick-ass in my opinion. But who knows, they might not, or they might, right? Finally, not finally, actually, there's a lot more things I actually want to talk about, but continuing on, there are some areas in Mass Effect 2 that we, obviously visited in Omega and stuff like that, and Michael said that there's going to be, those areas are going to come back and everything like that. So for us people out there who played Mass Effect 2, we're going to probably recognize certain levels in the Omega DLC because, they're from Mass Effect 2. But he also said that there's going to be new areas that are only exclusive to Mass Effect 3. So not only are we going to revisit old areas, probably maybe, whatchamacallit, the bar the club that Arya's in, what's it called? Not Space Club, Paradise or something? I don't know what it is. Oh, fuck, I forgot his name. But you know what I mean. The freaking bar that Arya goes to and she chills out there. We'll probably visit that place too. And, a whole bunch of new areas too that, we've never seen before, okay? Michael also said that there's going to be 2 new weapons, alright? And these 2 new weapons are actually weapons from the pre-order / promotional versions of the game. So basically us people out there who just bought the regular game, who didn't buy the pre-order, who didn't buy the promotional version of the game, we'll be able to get these 2 new weapons, okay? And then keep on saying finally, but there's still a lot more to talk about. Next, there's new enemies, okay? As to date, what I saw in the video and what Michael said is that there's security drones, just like in Mass Effect 2, but they have sentinel armor, and if you're too close to them, they can hurt you. I think they used to do that in Mass Effect 2. I think when the robots, died, they would cause collateral damage if you were too close. But, that's pretty cool that they're bringing back the drones from Mass Effect 2, especially since, those were like one of the main enemies in Mass Effect 2, right? Next is actually a new character. I said before that Arya was the new squad mate, but there's another new squad mate, and that is a female Turian, holy shit, named Nyreen, okay? Nyreen, okay? And that's pretty damn cool in my opinion. Even the guy, the editor, was like, holy shit, a female Turian, really? Because we've been all waiting for this. And to be honest, everyone's been waiting for a female Turian. And the only image that we saw of a female Turian was from the comic book, in which we see, I think it was like one of the comic books in which you're with the Turians and whatnot, and you get to see like one image of a female Turian and that's it, right? But here, you actually get to have a squad mate as a Turian, alright, a female Turian, and the female Turian has biotic abilities. So, obviously, if, look at the other games and whatnot, Turians don't really use biotics. They're more of a technological, soldier class, if you would. So they don't really use biotics. Obviously the Sentinels do, but not the soldiers. And so what Michael said was that this character Nyreen is more of a kind of a counterbalance for Arya, because Arya is more of a very offensive biotic, while Nyreen is going to be more of a defensive biotic. So that's pretty cool that you're going to have Arya and Nyreen with you, and you'll be able to, okay, I have one chick that's going to be able to, stop all those annoying troopers and, engineers and whatnot. And on the other side, I have a defensive biotic here who can basically support me and give me backup and everything like that. So that's pretty cool. And if you're wondering what her powers are, they're basically Incinerate, obviously, Overload, typical for any Turian, Lift Grenade, grenades being, obviously military related, and obviously the lift because that's biotic related and she is technically a biotic. And then finally a new ability called Biotic Protector, alright? It's basically a defense support ability. I really didn't see Nyreen use this in the gameplay footage of this the Omega DLC. I really just saw her just shooting. I didn't really see her use this Biotic Protector, and they didn't really talk about the Biotic Protector, but he did say that it is a new ability that's going to be unique to her, okay? And then what else I can say about the Omega DLC? Yes. He said that this is going to be separate from the actual story of Mass Effect 3. Obviously, it's related because, Cerebus and the Reapers and whatnot, but they said that this story is not going to actually affect the story of the original game, okay? So meaning that, whatever happens in Omega DLC stays in Omega okay? You don't have to worry about it transferring to your other characters and, you know, other people dying because you messed up in the Omega DLC and things like that, right? You know, they said that they wanted a separate story rather than having it connected with the actual story to, you know, Mass Effect 3. They wanted it different, and so, you know, it seems like you're actually getting a DLC rather than just getting like a little add-on to the game and whatnot, right? Another thing that Michael mentioned was that this DLC is not a DLC you would want to play if you're a low level, meaning that, let's say you're fresh to Mass Effect 3 and you buy all the DLCs and everything, and you start off the game, you know, at level 1, and you right off the bat can go to Omega and do the Omega DLC and everything. He says it's not really advised to do that, just because the enemies and the Omega DLC are much tougher. He said that if you are going to play the Omega DLC at a low level or at, you know, a fresh game save, he said to basically start off at least at level 20, just because, you know, it's going to be really hard if you do it at level 1 or maybe even a little bit higher. It could be even hard for you. So he said if you are going to play this DLC, play it at least until you're level 20. You know, anything lower than that, it's not really advised because you might get your ass raped and frustrated, which, believe me, can take the experience away of a video game if you're not high enough level, right? So my suggestion is, if you're new to the game and everything and you get the Omega DLC, wait until you're level 20, alright, and then play the Omega DLC, because, to be honest, you don't want to judge the DLC based off of the fact that you're not strong enough to fight the characters in the DLC, okay? And what else did Michael say about the game? About the DLC, actually. He actually said that there's going to be 4 main missions, okay, to the DLC. So, you know, people out there wondering, is there going to be only 1 mission that you do or 2 missions? No, there's going to be 4 missions, big missions, mind you, including side quests that you can do for, you know, other characters and whatnot. And he also said that the size of the DLC is about 1.97 gigabytes. And for people out there who don't know, 1.97 gigabytes is actually pushing the limit of how big a DLC could be. Apparently, Xbox and Sony have a limit of how big a DLC could be in their stores, right? I didn't know that. I actually found this out when I was watching the video. Michael said that unfortunately, these online stores have a limit of how big a DLC could be, and they said that the limit is 2 gigabytes. You're probably wondering, but wait a minute, but you can download games like 10, 20 gigabytes big with no problem. Why in the hell wouldn't they make the DLC bigger? Who knows, maybe they have a rule that if it's over 2 gigabytes, it's considered a game, so then you would have to raise the price for it, and a whole bunch of other shit, I don't know. So, all I know is that he said that they were pushing the limit at 1.97 gigabytes as to date, alright, because the game hasn't been released yet, so they probably might add a little bit more. Maybe they might push it to maybe 1.99 gigabytes, who knows. But he said that they can't pass 2 gigabytes because if they did, they won't be allowed to put the game into the store, okay? And so you people out there complaining that, oh, the DLC is going to be short and everything like that, it's going to be kind of short. He said it's going to be about 2 hours long, but he says the only reason it's going to be 2 hours long is because they have a restraint of obviously the size that they can use for this DLC. And before you're saying, oh, well, just, you know, take some things out and, you know, add more gameplay to it. Well, you could do that, but the thing is, you know, people out there, they want new characters, alright, so we're getting Arya and Irene, alright, plus new abilities, new weapons, alright, we're getting new enemies, new maps in general, okay, that's probably taking up a lot of space right there, probably new animations too, dialogue, voiceovers, a whole bunch of other stuff, side quests, you know, all this stuff has to be added to this DLC, and obviously you want the DLC to be refined and beautiful and gorgeous, so they're kind of actually pushing the limit of, you know, reaching that point of 2 gigabytes for their DLC. So I can understand now why BioWare has, you know, why they're their DLCs are so short. It's just because of this damn limit that they have. And if you guys are wondering how much it's going to cost, he said it was going to be $14.99. Alright, it's actually one of the more expensive DLCs for Mass Effect 3. Also, if you're on Xbox Live, it's going to be 1,200 Microsoft points. So if you have 1,200 Microsoft points saved up, good for you. And it comes out November 27th in North America. And for PS3 in Europe, it comes out November 28th, alright? And basically, that's all I saw in the video. Really not much to say. I'll leave a link in the description below for the video if you guys actually want to check out the video that GameSpot has and everything like that. But the thing is, this Omega DLC looks good, in my opinion. I don't really care about the 2-hour thing as long as the story is good, as long as I get new characters, new weapons, new environments, new enemies. I am fine with that, okay? But obviously people want a good story because this is Mass Effect, and Mass Effect is known for having a good story and everything like that. But that's pretty much it, guys, for this Mass Effect update. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I talked about the Operation Blast Furnace, I talked about the N7-Day Multiplayer Challenge, and finally I talked about the Omega DLC, which to me looks great, especially with these 2 new characters, Arya and Irene. So you people out there, you fanboys out there, finally get to see Arya's ass move around in the map. Well, guess what? You can, alright? Hopefully they actually add some of these powers and maybe characters, if you would, into the multiplayer. But who knows? We just have to wait and see, alright? So that's pretty much it for this week of Mass Effect. Hope you guys enjoyed it. So I'll see you guys around, alright? Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please press the little like button down below. Also, don't forget to comment, rate, and subscribe. And if you want more updates on what's going on my channel, just visit me on Twitter or at my Facebook page. So, this is Primus, keep it crunchy, and peace out.